are these people?
Again, I know that our friend Kit over at Heartlands Media covered this earlier in the week, and I wasn't really around this week to see this, but when I saw the video, I'm like, oh my God, we've got to talk about this. ICE agents detain a daycare teacher in Chicago. And again, I'm guessing some of you probably saw this, but I like this article from M. Carlstad and Gwen Lee over again at Left Voice. On Wednesday morning in Chicago, a nightmare scenario played out when ICE agents arrived at Rayito de Sol Spanish Immersion Early Learning Center in North Center neighborhood and ripped a daycare teacher from her workplace in front of parents and their children. Why? Parents who arrived around the same time to drop their kids off witnessed and filmed much of the abduction. The upsetting footage shows two ICE agents in masks, of course, and police vests taking the teacher by force out of the school building as she struggles, visibly terrified. Her screams are audible from within the building as they force her out the door and handcuff her against a gray sedan. According to Chicago Alderman Matt Martin, who viewed security camera footage from the daycare, the ICE agents also entered and searched the daycare building with guns, while teachers and young students were present. That's illegal. According to parents, the teacher normally works in an infant classroom. In some video footage, the teacher can be heard telling the ICE agents in Spanish that she has papers. Indeed, she's an asylum seeker with a valid work permit. Her coworkers and community members describe the attack as horrifying, surreal, and nightmarish. Parents and children alike were left in shock and tears. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson condemned the abduction and criticized ICE's use of force against this teacher and other immigrants and protesters in Chicago. He's right to do so, but a sharp contradiction lies behind his words, because as mayor, he's leader of a police department that works in parallel with ICE to terrorize people of color in Chicago and repress protests. Johnson, of course, used to be a teacher himself and a member of the Chicago Teachers Union, a union which now must take up the fight to demand this teacher's release and to defend all educators as well as students from ICE. Fuck ICE. As of Thursday, the teacher was believed to be held at the Broadview ICE detention facility, which, by the way, is one of the worst in the country, raising concerns for her safety among the daycare's community. Again, the site has been described as dire and disgusting due to poor sanitation, and detainees are regularly denied access to food and medical care. Organizers, parents, and other Chicagoans protested there on Thursday and were denied access to speak with the teacher. She might not even be there. They might have moved her to Louisiana for all we know at this point. They move people around the country from facility to facility without telling anybody, and they're disappearing people, and that's part of the plan. Since Trump's inauguration, ICE agents have abducted multiple students here in New York City and have surveilled, terrorized, and invaded other cities even more aggressively. All over the country, there are instances of agents in unmarked vehicles wearing civilian clothes with faces covered, separating children from their parents, or beating and arresting people, sometimes citizens, who happen to look like they could be immigrants, and their skin is usually brown. The ongoing government shutdown adds a new level of absurdity to the horror of such ICE attacks. While funding for SNAP benefits sits frozen and blocked from people's EBT cards, causing families to go hungry, ICE agents are still being paid to terrorize them at work and school. Hey, thanks. Appreciate that, guys. In many cases like LA and a recent ICE arrest in Detroit, these attacks have been met with fierce and organized resistance by communities. When masked ICE agents targeted a group of men in Detroit, members of the Detroit People's Assembly intervened to try to bring the men to safety after the agents abducted one of the men by smashing a car window and dragging him out of it through the broken fucking glass. In another instance, directly involving educators, CTU teachers formed sanctuary teams this year to monitor any potential threats against undocumented students. This comes after many years of fighting for immigrant defense by CTU workers. Students and teachers have the right to free, safe, and accessible learning communities, regardless of their immigration status. This has been ruled on by the Supreme fucking Court. They don't care. Because of this, it's essential that we defend them from these racist attacks by ICE, which Trump is transforming into his own personal police force. Additionally, the fact that Democrats and Republicans are paying ICE to continue its racist rampages while 42 million people lost SNAP benefits is a reminder that we can't count on capitalist politicians nor their biased court system to defend our immigrant coworkers and students. Still, we know from the No Kings marches of the summer and fall, attended by millions, useless, and the recent rejection of Trump's politics in the 2025 elections, yay, that people are prepared and energized to fight back, and perhaps in more powerful ways than the ballot box. I sure hope so, because that didn't do very much. Because of attacks like the one on Wednesday, teachers are on the front lines of this fight and may have already taken it up. This is evident from the CTU's sanctuary teams, the protests led in recent years by the United Teachers of LA, and the ongoing education worker organizing happening in New York City. As unionized teachers have said many times, their working conditions are their students' learning conditions. Organizing to defend our immigrant coworkers directly from our workplaces is essential. And our unions can and must play a leading role in organizing that fight back. I wouldn't count on them, though. I think that they need to organize themselves on top of that. So fuck ICE, man. Holy crap. Again, this is Indie News Now Live. Appreciate everybody checking this out. This is the first episode of the new version of this show. Before I continue, I do want to ask you to support independent media if you're able to and a means. The ways to do that are the same as always. Cash App, $, Indie News Network. That goes right to my phone. $, Indie News Network. co-fi.com/Indie News Network. We got paypal.me/Indie News Network. Do that as friends and family. All right. Then we've got, again, at the Indie News Now website that we are live at right now, there is a tab to keep the news free, and you can donate via Stripe. And then we've got over at Substack, INNnewsletter.com, where we publish weekly update and more, and where we are live now at IndieMediaToday.com. And again, good to see everybody over there. Thank you so much, really, for supporting independent media and for hanging out. We're gonna do this every Tuesday night now at 10 p.m. Eastern. We're just shifting. So for those who weren't here earlier, like Vicky, and it's in the description, but How Do We Miss That is evolving. You know, I took a look around at the landscape and I said, you know, as a show name, it's been around for 4 years. We never really named the show. It kind of evolved into its own name, but I never actively decided that this is what I want to call it. But because we're using articles from Indie News Now, I think it makes a lot of sense to brand Indie News Now and link the website into the show name. So it's called Indie News Now Live. And I've been wanting to do a show kind of by myself, a news show. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to see how this goes. Again, Thursday nights, you're going to see a mix of shows. You're going to see a combination of either INN one-on-one. You're going to see Indie's Tech Tips, which I'm going to do shows of, and we're going to talk about the tools. We're going to do some more Nobody Wants to Work Anymore, and there might even be one on Thursday with me and Himbo. And, of course, American Tradition, which will be the last Thursday of every month. We've kind of tried to set on that as a schedule. So thank you, everybody, again, for supporting this move. Tell everyone about Indie News Now and about Indie News Now Live. I really think that it might help give us a little bit of a boost because we certainly could use one. The algorithm doesn't love us. Boats, by the way, will be moving to 11 p.m. on Sunday nights. So we are still going to do boats. It's going to happen on Sunday night. And the last Sunday of every month will still be in uncensored boats. But the truth is that I can't continue to stay up as late as I've been staying on Sunday nights, especially and I've got to start working on my schedule. So spreading this out a little bit better seems to make more sense, at least for me. And we're going to try this and see how it goes. And thank you, everybody, for being on board and supporting that. So I will, again, say to support independent media because we need it more than ever. And we will see you next Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Check out INN News with Reef and Colin. And we'll see you again real soon. Love you all, fam. No! We just fucking lost the stream!
I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days, and I still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to say. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe? Were you safe?